So I just phoned ICBC and I talked to the same woman as back in end of June 2023. So the woman that I first phoned back at the end of June 2023, the call center woman, it was the same person, the same name, but the only difference is that I did not mention China or Hong Kong this time. So she wasn't as hostile, but she was a little bit frustrated. But she didn't hang up on me even though I wasted 30 minutes of her time. So at the end of June 2023, I took up only like 10 minutes of her time. And when she heard that that this is related to China or Hong Kong, she became hostile at me and eventually just hanged up the phone over a 10-minute conversation. But as you just heard right now, I wasted 30 minutes of her time and I did not mention anything about China or Hong Kong. And she also stated she didn't know what place I went to, nothing related to China or Hong Kong now. She doesn't know, and she was calm and patient, even though her patience was kind of running thin. But look, this just proves that they discriminate against Asian people and Chinese people because. So what's the difference between end of June and right now beginning of September? The only difference is that I didn't mention China, Asia, or Hong Kong this time. So she probably thought I was white or something. So she was normal or neutral and didn't just hang up the phone on me. This is just blatant racism.
Calling driver licensing. This is Jen. Can I get your name?
Oh hi. Is there a manager on duty right now?
Well, this is a call center.
Yeah.
So, in regards to what?
Driver licensing.
Okay. So, what's the situation that you need to speak with somebody?
Do you know if is Doug Cooper in your office or does he work from somewhere else?
I have no idea who that is, unfortunately.
Oh, you don't know who Doug Cooper is? Oh, is there a manager in your department that takes care of identification and license renewals?
So, we're the call center for all of the offices. So, did you go to like a specific office?
No, not yet.
So, can you explain the situation, and then I can sort of try to help you the best that I can?
I received an email from Leanne a few months ago, and I don't agree with what she wrote.
Okay. But what is like? I need you to elaborate. Like, what is the email? What happened?
I don't agree with her definition of ordinary resident
So, like, what do you mean though?
because she defined ordinary resident, but it doesn't match common law or the Department of Justice Canada's definition of ordinary resident.
So, well, BC has residency for the province of BC. It's not Canada wide, if that's what you're wondering.
The BC Motor
So, like, what
Code.
happened?
So for the for the on the BC Motor Vehicle Act Section 24, it says only ordinary residents of BC qualify for a BC driver's license. And Leanne replied to one of my emails, and her definition of ordinary resident does not match the definition under common law and also the Department of Justice Canada definition.
But if it's something to do with Canada, it's going to be different than what BC
Yeah, but
qualifies as a resident,
BC is a
than what we qualify as a resident.
BC is a common law province.
So, common law is just a spouse.
No, it's a common
That's
law.
common law.
There's common law and there's also civil code. Canada has common law, and Germany, for example, has civil code. So ICBC and the province of BC, you have to follow common law that judges, the court system in both BC and at the federal level of Canada follow. And for all common law provinces, the definition of ordinary resident is the same.
right? So, like, what has happened that, again, can
I
you
don't
elaborate
agree.
what has
Yeah,
happened so I can understand?
I don't agree with Leanne's definition of ordinary resident.
Okay, but what has transpired that? That's what I'm trying to ask you. Like, what
Leanne
did you go
said
to an
that
office? Did you try to apply for a license? Like, I'm not too sure.
yeah, it's related to
Right?
licensing. Leanne
Yeah,
said only ordinary residents of British Columbia can do a license
yeah,
renewal or get a license
yeah.
under Section
Which is
24.
basically, yeah, which is okay.
But her
Which
definition
that's
of
in
ordinary
BC.
residence isn't valid because she gave a definitive time. She wrote that people have to be settled in BC and live in BC for 6 months at a time per year, but that's
Yeah,
incorrect. People do
yeah.
not, Canadian citizens do not lose their place of ordinary residence due to temporary absence.
So in BC, for under ICBC's policy, for we can, that is exactly what we go off of in order to obtain a license here in BC.
Is there a legal department at ICBC who can review this? Because ICBC falls under the government of BC, and BC is a common law province, and all common law jurisdictions have to follow common law, and also the Department of Justice's department. ICBC and the province of BC cannot create laws that contradict common law and what's set up by the federal government.
So did you go to an office and try to apply for a license?
No, not yet.
Okay, so how did this email come into play if you haven't done that?
I phoned you a few months ago.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I need more
Yeah, I
story.
talked to
Like,
you.
that's the thing, right?
I talked to
Yeah,
you at the end of June, and also talked to Leanne over email.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'll
Is that
like
her feedback email?
yeah, it's right. Feedback at icbc.com. So I'll like you to forward this message to a manager, or transfer me to a manager if there's a manager at your call center right now at 8:45 a.m.
So unfortunately, I don't have a manager
Oh,
that would be able to come onto the phone.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, so you don't know who Doug? There's no Doug Cooper at your
No,
office.
I don't know who that is.
Oh,
No, I don't
okay.
know who that is.
Okay. Oh, that's fine. I'll call them directly through that directory when I just phone the ICBC's phone number. Then I don't
Okay.
expect call center people, or maybe Leanne, who might not know what's going on, but what's the policy that that people are following ICBC? It's not right because common law and whatever federal stuff there is, it's above provincial level, and everybody has to follow it because people have rights.
So, so what was the initial like the phone call?
It was about driver's licensing renewal.
Okay, okay. But like, what was the conversation? 'Cause, again, you're just kind of giving me little bits and pieces, so I really,
Yeah, it was about
so I
driver's
need more.
licensing. It was about driver licensing renewal requirements, and Leanne sent me an email defining, talking about Section 24 of the BC Motor Vehicle Act, and she said
Okay,
she talked about or the definition of what an
right.
ordinary
I get all
resident
of
is.
that. I get all that. But what was it that you were trying to do? Were you trying to renew over the phone?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
But
So have you been out of BC for longer than 6 months?
yeah,
Well, that's why. That's why it was denied.
yeah. So, but based on common law and the Justice Department, there's no set amount of time
But we
being
don't go off
absent,
of that though. We
but you
don't go
have
off of
to
that though.
because you have to because IC the province of BC is a common law jurisdiction, and the Justice Department also went through a whole bunch of cases related to not just including driver's license, other cases too. But the definition of under common law is that there's no set amount of time of being absent that makes you not an ordinary resident, and there's a whole bunch of other factors that could be considered, such as a permanent address, a permanent home, the location of your personal items, and also the location and registration of your vehicle. There's no set time limit that makes your your ordinary residence expire, because Canadians have the right to enter Canada, remain in Canada in any province or territory of their choice, and voluntarily leave Canada if they choose to do so. The, it's not permitted for ICBC or the province of BC to set up roadblocks or put up administrative hurdles for Canadian citizens moved from other provinces, or Canadian citizens who are ordinary resident BC who are temporarily absent due to unforeseen circumstances. So this is just violating people's freedom of movement and mobility rights as well.
Yeah, so unfortunately we go off of the 6 months. So if you've been out of BC
Yeah.
longer than 6 months,
So
technically you're no longer a resident.
this six
Yeah.
months thing is just an internal ICBC policy.
Right, but that's what we go off of.
It comes from ICBC management.
I don't know.
Because
Those are the policies.
I went through the entire BC Motor Vehicle Act, and other people went through it as well, and nobody could find anything that says 6 months anywhere. We looked through all the way from part one all the way to part 40 or 50 something, and what Leanne quoted, and looks like the problem is section 24, and section 24 only states ordinary resident, but it doesn't say anything about 6 month. But we went through the entire BC Motor Vehicle Act, and there's no 6 month requirement. It doesn't state anything about six
Yeah.
months.
So in our system, this is BC Motor Vehicle Act does not define the concept of quote unquote ordinary resident. It says
Yeah, that's right.
BC law suggests that an individual who comes to BC for the settled purpose has the fixed intent to remain in BC qualifies as a quote unquote ordinary resident.
Yeah, but
But it says there is no precise definition of ordinary resident.
Yeah, so but based on common law from the courts, from various common law jurisdictions, including BC, and also from the Department of Justice Canada, it states that people do not lose ordinary residence in a place due to absence.
Yeah, unfortunately, these are the policies that are put into place. I mean, you can send another email back to feedback
Okay,
or whoever it is that you were wanting
yeah,
to contact,
okay.
but unfortunately, yeah,
So
there's nothing I
this
can do about it.
policies is a ICBC thing, and it's not from the BC Motor Vehicle Act or another act.
I can't answer that question.
Uh, so uh, so section 24 only says ordinary resident, but there's no definition of it.
It's basically, it says it's for quote unquote settle purpose. If you've been gone for X amount of time, you're not here, right? So that no longer deems you as a resident of BC.
But people, based on common law and the Department of Justice, that
Right, but I don't understand this whole common law thing, right? So unfortunately, like I said, you can either send another email back to feedback
yeah.
or reach out to the other person.
Okay, so you don't understand what common law is?
Not here, no.
Oh, okay. Oh, So for the call center, so it's for the call center that you work at, it's just a general call center.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you take
Correct.
care of a lot of other issues related to ICBC.
In licensing
So you're specific, this, your department's specific for licensing only?
and IDs, yes.
Pardon?
Yes, and IDs.
Oh, NIDs. Okay. Oh, okay. For also another question for BC services cards. I noticed that the requirements to get a BC service card from an ICBC branch is a little bit different from Service BC. So hypothetically, if somebody's a permanent resident of Canada, do you accept permanent resident travel documents that are valid for 5 years and multiple entries and exits, or other proof of permanent residence other than a permanent resident of Canada card?
So it has to be the card.
It has to be in a
In order
card
to get any,
format.
it has to be the PR card.
In
Correct.
card format.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't accept a permanent resident of Canada travel document that's also valid for 5 years and multiple entries and exits from Canada.
So it's a PR card,
Yeah, but I noticed that on the website
physical
too,
card.
people need a physical card format, but at the
Yeah. In
uh,
order to qualify for the physical card from health insurance,
yeah,
it needs to be the physical PR card.
does that
Just a
in,
confirmation of PR, that's enough to get you set up into the system, but it's not enough to get any sort of card.
does the
So it
permanent
needs to be the
resident,
physical PR
okay,
card.
does the permanent resident card requirement also apply for renewals?
Yeah.
So if somebody
Well, not
got it,
necessarily. If you have the physical card, if you have a services card with a photo on it,
yeah.
and it's in that expired, you don't have to present your PR card.
Oh, so if your driver's license expired and your Service BC card is expired within 3 years, people can still bring those two in without a permanent resident of Canada card?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay,
Correct.
okay.
Initial application, you would need a PR card.
Oh, it's only for,
You don't have to
oh,
show your
okay.
PR card
Yeah,
every single
okay.
time.
PR cards just for initial applications, not renewals within
Mm-hmm.
3 years. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, if somebody's a Canadian citizen, do they have to bring a birth certificate?
Well, Canadian citizen is two different things. So either you're born in Canada, which is
Yeah,
going to be a birth certificate, or your citizenship
yeah,
card.
yeah,
So there's
okay.
two different things.
Yeah, okay. So if somebody is Canadian citizen born in Canada, people can just bring their BC license and their BC services
Yeah.
card without a birth certificate?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You don't
Okay,
have to bring your birth certificate each
okay,
time.
okay. And Leanne and other persons also online said something about residency unit at ICBC.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that about?
Like in regards to what?
Uh, they said there's a residency unit that
Yeah.
that verifies people's residency for driver's
Yep.
licenses.
Yep.
S-
Yep.
Yeah, so what is that about? I think that's limiting Canadians, the mobility rights of Canadian citizens.
So they're the ones again that would determine if somebody is a resident here in BC.
Uh, does the residency unit work out of those ICBC motor vehicle branches, or is it just an office where they phone people and mail stuff to
It
people?
depends.
Oh,
It
okay.
depends.
It depends. Okay. Yeah, so I think I have a problem with the residency unit because it's limiting people's mobility rights if you're a Canadian citizen. And I also want to point out that hypothetically, if an ordinary BC resident went to another Canadian province or territory or the United States, they'll have to give up their BC license in card format anyways. So I don't understand what's the purpose of this BC residency unit if people have to give up their license in another province or in the USA.
Not all so there are other provinces and jurisdictions that don't take a BC license,
Oh,
right? So again, that's why. So
oh,
if somebody goes elsewhere and obtains a license and they come back to BC, yes, by law you would have to surrender any foreign driver's licenses in order to obtain a BC license, but not every other province and country will take a BC license.
but which provinces don't take a BC
I
license?
couldn't even tell. I couldn't even tell you that. I have
Okay.
no idea.
What's the policy in regards to digital licenses from elsewhere?
Digital?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Oh, so do
Like we
people
wouldn't. We're not going to accept a digital license. No.
can people renew a license or get a BC license if they have a digital license from elsewhere?
Like what do you mean? I've
If
never heard of a digital license.
if somebody so a lot of places around the world now there's a app on people's phone and there's a license on it because people don't like plastic, people are being environmentally friendly and all that stuff, so they don't issue card format licenses anymore, and they want people who have a cell phone app and they open this app and their license hooks up, this app hooks up to the government's computer, and a license pops up if they have a license.
So we wouldn't accept a digital one.
Yeah, so can people renew a BC driver's license or get a BC license if they have a digital license? How do people surrender a digital license?
I don't know. I've never heard. Like again, I've never heard of a digital one. So
Oh, you
that
didn't?
again, I wouldn't
Oh,
be able to
okay.
answer. You would know. I
Oh,
don't know who has a
so
digital license.
yeah.
No.
Oh, so only people only have to surrender another license to get a renewal if it's only in card format.
So by law, we would have to surrender licenses, right? So
Yeah.
again, I don't know which country holds a digital license. I can't answer that question.
Half the world has a digital license.
Okay, well that's news to me because I've never heard of that.
Yeah. Oh, so can people renew a license or get a BC license if they have a digital license but not one in physical
I
card
don't know.
format? Oh,
I don't know.
you
You would
don't
need
know.
some sort of proof to show. Yeah. Again, I've never heard of a digital license.
But if people don't know what a digital license is, how do you show proof that you don't have a license?
I wouldn't be able to answer that.
Oh, so if someone were to walk into ICBC motor vehicle branch and during the renewal process, question number two, I think it's if they ask if you have a license from another place, would the answer be yes or no if somebody has a digital license on their phone?
Unfortunately, I'm not in an office, so I wouldn't be able to answer that question.
Oh, but I thought your call center department takes care of driver's licensing renewals and
Hmm.
ID.
Right. But again, I'm not in a licensing office, so I've never heard of somebody saying they have a digital one. Right. So that's why I'm saying I can't answer that. So if the offices have some sort of a policy in place, the offices would have that.
Oh, so
I
is
don't
it?
deal face to face with people.
Oh, so it depend. Oh, so it depends on the licensing office's internal policy.
No, not necessarily. No. So I'm not too sure where this conversation is going. Right.
Yeah, because I'm just because Section 25 it states that Section 25 of the BC Motor Vehicle Act states that people can't have a license from elsewhere. So I was just wondering because
So that's where your residency would come into question, right? So, but anyways, do we have any other questions
yeah,
or?
because people can travel around and get a digital
Mhm.
license in another place.
Okay, but again, like I said, I don't know who holds a digital license,
So
right? I don't know which countries that's even a thing.
if somebody's an ordinary resident of BC and goes to anywhere in the USA or Europe or Asia or whatever, and most places have a digital license. So if you get a digital license elsewhere and come back to home, is it a problem to renew a BC license if people have a digital license
I
from
can't answer
elsewhere?
that question.
Oh, you
I can't
can't?
I can't answer that question. No,
Oh, why can't you answer the question?
because I can't.
Oh, so you don't know
Because
what?
again, I haven't heard of a digital license.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. But does somebody has a license from elsewhere doesn't mean that they're not an ordinary resident anymore?
So if you're moving to a different, if you're coming to BC, you're taking up residency,
But what if
right?
somebody's
So
already living in BC and you travel away temporarily, then you come back home and but you have a license from elsewhere in digital format.
like I'm just not too sure where, like, what kind of answers that you're looking for from me, right? I just feel
Speaks
like we're just going around in circles.
Section 25 states that people can't
Right.
have a
Hmm.
license from elsewhere, but does that include a digital license?
I can't answer that question. If you want to send an email to the residency department, by all means.
What I don't have the email of the so residency department takes care of the licensing part too for section 25.
So residency is residency.
For section 24.
I don't know which sections. I can't interpret the Motor Vehicle Act.
Oh, but my question's not about residency. It's about section 25 that states that people will have a problem getting a BC license or renewing a BC license if they have a license from elsewhere. So
Because you need to determine where you're going to be a resident,
uh,
right?
but section 25 does not say anything about resident. It talks about having a BC license, and it says that people can't get a BC license or renew a BC license if they have a license from elsewhere. So that's my main concern now.
But again, it does all follow down the path of being a resident of BC.
So, but if you're a resident of BC, does it mean that you can't have a license from elsewhere?
Right, because you're a resident of BC.
But if you, but if, but if you're a resident of BC and you leave BC for like a few months or
Hmm.
whatever X amount of time and you get a license from elsewhere to drive a car in another place because you can't use a BC license, does that mean you're basically kicked out of BC?
No.
So my question is, if people have a BC license and they're an ordinary resident of BC, but they get a digital license from elsewhere and come back for a license renewal, does that prevent them from getting a BC license if they have a license from elsewhere that's a digital
It
license?
could. It could.
It could, or it could, but it's not for certain.
I can't answer that question. Again, it would all go down to residency. So if you want to send them an email or
Uh,
send an email back to feedback,
yeah.
you definitely can.
Oh, so I
Okay?
could just email feedback and somebody at residency will
Yeah.
email? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So I think that's all my questions for today. Thank you for your time.